The NIL has transformed the game by giving teams an opportunity to get the number one thing to turn around your fortunes, a good quarterback. Don't forget to like and subscribe to take part in our Amazon giveaway when we reach 1,000 subscribers. Let's get into it. There are many naysayers about the NIL, saying that it's taking college football back to the days of the Wild West, when SMU was derided for playing players to move into the big time of college football. And the traditional powers felt like the Mustangs were invading on their territory by doing a better job of paying and recruiting players, which is not uncommon when systems and institutions are challenged. If you know anyone who has been around college football or played it on the high level, they will tell you that the Wild West never left, and top athletes have continued to get paid and compensated at the highest levels. Listen carefully. This Ed Obannon lawsuit has done under this NIL system is to provide an opportunity for schools that haven't been as successful to compete for the number one thing you need to be successful in modern football: a quarterback, aka the QweeBee. Regardless if you are a big-time school, if you're a Power 5 school, if you're a Vanderbilt, whatever, you have an opportunity to compete to grab that quarterback that you may need. Just look at the national semifinal between Georgia, TCU, Ohio State, and Michigan. On this big stage, quarterback play was critical for all teams, as offenses are allowed to just flourish in modern football. And the weakest of them all was Michigan, and that showed in the outcome of the game. What if Michigan had C.J. Stroud on their team instead of J.J. McCarthy? What stood out to me about CJ is his development at OSU, which says a lot about the coaching staff and the work they put in to develop their talent. And that's an important key factor that we can't neglect, is once you get your quarterback in, the process of developing them. Let's examine the whole process of why the NIL is such a big deal and how it can work for you in your school. Don't get me wrong, every school will not be in the running for Arch Manning. Just look at his NIL evaluation at $3.5 million, and him being the most sought out quarterback prospect in history. Well, he also has the pedigree, right? Uncles Peyton and Eli were accomplished Hall of Famers in the NFL, Super Bowl winners, not to mention the patriarch of the Manning family. Archie was a two-time Pro Bowler in his 13 NFL seasons. If we look at the numbers and you are recruiting a quarterback down the list, and you really believe this is the quarterback that can run your system and develop into the person you need, it's worth it to offer an elite level contract. The player may not be Arch Manning, but he will be Arch Manning to you. And if you treat him as such, you will have a better chance of signing the player. I'm not saying this is a guarantee. It just gives you a better chance of signing the player that you have identified as the person to carry your team forward. Let's take this analysis a step further. Look at my school, USF. What separates from getting blowed out by BYU and Louisville in September and playing great competitive games against Tulsa and Central Florida in November was not just the coach Jeff Scott being fired, but the emergence of freshman Byron Brown. Byron was a 3-star quarterback recruit from North Carolina who was able to fit into the U.S. This was one of the worst in probably the history of college football, so they were not able to hold on for those victories, but I digress. One thing I know about humans and hiring is that you want to be honest and lay out what they could mean for the company/program. You want them to know that they are your first choice, and one of the biggest mitigating factors in job satisfaction or hiring is being compensated fairly based on the opportunity, which means if I chose to go to USF over North Carolina, which is a P5 school now, then splash the cash for the chance to win now. Not only will it move your career, but also the careers of your staff and the career of that player who you plan to mold and develop and build a team around. Let's face it, if I had a chance to play now, if I had a chance to also be compensated, that may sway me to go to a school that I might not have normally considered based on those two factors, not just the chance to play. And then once you get them in, you develop them, they start winning. Nothing drives recruiting and opportunities like success. To further drive home the point, the Bucs went from Jameis Winston to Tom Brady and was able to win a Super Bowl. No offense against Jameis, but the proof is in the pudding. A very important corollary to this point of paying the NIL, put the money you need into developing your quarterback into whatever systems that may look like, whether it be through the coaches, whether it be through training programs. You have to also develop the quarterback and put them in a system that works for that quarterback. Too often I have seen is that coaches try to go plug in a player into a system that doesn't fit them. And that is nigh impossible, especially at the quarterback, in order to obtain success, right? Justin Fields and Tom Brady should not be running the same offense. And one of the big parts that I saw this year down in Florida, Billy Napier said, Richardson, I don't want you to run because you're my only quarterback. Stay in the pocket. Well, when Richardson stays in the pocket because he's not a pocket passer, it goes from beating Utah to losing against Vanderbilt, which is an embarrassment. In summary, we live in a world where football is dominated by quarterback play. I'm not telling anyone what offense to run. I'm saying whatever offense you run, identify the quarterback that will transform your team. The sooner you identify that prospect and you start recruiting him and making them feel like they're your person, the better. Also, compensate them as if they were your Arch Manning. Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money into your quarterback system, your quarterback training, your quarterback development. What do you think? Leave your comments below. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Join our journey as we continue to grow. We're currently running a promotion that will give away $100 Amazon cards to 2 subscribers at random when we reach 1K. To be eligible, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment it on a video. I really appreciate your support. See you in the comments below. Peace.